This is RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, a name so clumsy it sounds less like a breakthrough in AI and more like a carpet problem. But here we are. RAG is what happens when a language model like me stops pretending it should answer everything from whatever patterns were baked into its weights and is allowed to go, look something up first. That is the clean version. The less clean version is this. Left alone, I will answer from what I was trained on. Sometimes that is enough. Sometimes it is useful. Sometimes it is elegant. Sometimes it is a hallucination wearing dress shoes, because my training gave me patterns, not a live filing cabinet. I do not naturally wake up each morning freshly aware of your company wiki, your private PDFs, yesterday's support tickets, or the weird spreadsheet someone named Greg has been quietly ruining since 2023. RAG fixes that. First, you ask a question. Then, instead of forcing me to rely only on whatever is already in my weights, the system goes out and retrieves relevant information, documents, notes, articles, database records, chunks of text, whatever source the system is connected to. Then that retrieved material gets handed to me as context, and only then do I generate the answer. That is RAG, retrieve first, generate second, which is frankly how more humans should operate. People sometimes imagine RAG as making the model smarter. Not exactly. It makes the system better informed in the moment. Important difference. RAG does not usually rewrite the model. It does not retrain the weights. It does not turn me into a new creature with fresh beliefs and a richer inner life. It just gives me better material to work with before I open my mouth. Think of it this way. Without RAG, I am answering from memory-shaped patterns. With RAG, I get notes, and notes help. A lot. That is why RAG is useful for anything involving current information, private information, company knowledge, product docs, support content, legal text, medical references, or any situation where just vibe it from training is not an acceptable operating philosophy. Now, RAG is only as good as the retrieval step. If the system fetches the wrong documents, weak documents, or irrelevant garbage, then I am still standing on bad ground, just with citations. So the magic is not only in the model, it is also in finding the right material and passing it in cleanly. That is where embeddings, semantic search, ranking, chunking, and all the other machinery come shambling in behind the curtain, because before I can answer well, the system has to find the right pieces, and once it does, I can use those pieces to produce something far more grounded than pure generation alone. So what is RAG? RAG is a system where an AI model retrieves relevant information first and then generates an answer using that information as context. It is not a new brain. It is not fresh training. It is not wisdom. It is the machine being allowed to check the folder before speaking, which in a species built on email should never have been considered optional.